The $150,000 home trap. Do this before you age in place. You've been sold that age in place dream, but here's the bill nobody shows. $150,000 in lost equity, fall costs, and bad timing. A paid-off home isn't protected. One wrong transfer can trigger Medicaid penalties, and a single fall can snowball into rehab, home care hours, and debt. Let's be honest, houses from the 1970s fight back. Rugs, tubs, stairs. Today I'll expose the 5-year Medicaid look-back trap, the real fall cost math, and the exact home shield plan to keep care dollars in the family. Stay for the bathroom fix that slashes risk fast. And the legal move your neighbor's lawyer forgot to mention. The $150,000 home trap. Why aging in place isn't free. Most families assume staying home is free because the mortgage is gone. The thing most people miss is that free turns expensive the moment safety hazards, paid help, and Medicaid timing collide. I've watched costs creep into 6 figures without a glamorous remodel, just ER visits, afterfalls, piecemeal helper hours, and paperwork mistakes that delay benefits. Why it matters: one fall can set off a chain. ER imaging, a short hospital stay, then rehab, then weeks of home help while you regain confidence. Even with Medicare covering parts, you still face coinsurance, copays, transportation, equipment, and lost family time. Meanwhile, you're rushing to qualify for Medicaid, and the look-back rule audits 60 months in most states. If payments to family weren't documented with a compliant caregiver agreement, those dollars can be treated as gifts and trigger a penalty period. That's how you burn cash right when you need coverage. Let me break down the hidden bill. Safety gaps. Bathrooms, stairs, and entryways cause a large share of serious injuries. Wet tile, high tub walls, loose rugs, dim bulbs. These beat being careful. Piecemeal helpers. Agencies have minimum shifts and weekend premiums. Without a task-first schedule, you pay for idle time. Timing mistakes. Gifting money to kids, deed transfers, or informal family pay inside the look-back can stall eligibility and expose home equity to recovery later. Here's the model that makes this click. Compare 12 months of reactive costs with 1 month of strategic prep. Reactive year, 2 modest falls with ER and imaging, a brief rehab, sporadic rides, and 6 months averaging 15 to 20 home care hours a week while you rebuild confidence. You buy equipment twice because the first batch wasn't right, and you rush handyman fixes. Strategic month. A low-cost home audit, prioritized safety upgrades, bathroom first, brighter lighting, rails on both sides of stairs, anchored rugs, cord control, and clear paths. Then a caregiver plan, who does what, when, and backups. Add a written caregiver agreement if family helps, and a quick elder law consult to map state-allowed tools that protect home equity from recovery. The difference is simple. The reactive path bleeds cash in constant hits that don't reduce risk. The strategic path buys down risk first, shrinks paid hours with a task map, and protects eligibility later. Now, here's where most people mess up. They equate paid off with protected. In many states, your home can be exempt for eligibility while you live there, but after death, Medicaid estate recovery may seek reimbursement. Transfers within 5 years often cause penalties. Timing and documentation aren't nice-to-haves. They're the safety net for your equity. Let me show you how the drains sneak in. Unsafe rooms. The bathroom is the bullseye. Tall tubs force a high step when balance is shaky. Smooth towel plus soap is slick. Low toilets strain knees and tip you forward. A fast upgrade. Adhesive anti-slip strips. A transfer bench that straddles the tub wall, 2 grab bars anchored into studs, a handheld sprayer, and brighter diffused light. Drops risk fast. Piecemeal helpers, minimum blocks, and surcharges add up. Without a task-based visit, you pay for just being around. Batch tasks into 90-minute focus blocks. Bathroom safety, shower, laundry started and transferred, kitchen wipe down, trash out, medication setup, quick trip hazard sweep. When the list is done, The visit ends. Safety stays, hours shrink. Bad timing. The 5-year look-back reviews transfers for less than fair market value. Paying a child for, helping out without a written market-rate caregiver agreement looks like gifting. That triggers a penalty period. Draft the agreement before payments. Duties, schedule, fair local rate, and logs. Pay by check or e-transfer with clear memos. Keep receipts and timesheets. Make the math visible with 2 paths. Path A, no prep. Fall, ER, imaging, discharge home. You feel unsteady, hire 20 hours per week for 8 weeks. A near fall adds, just in case, hours. You send casual, thank you, money to your daughter. No contract, no logs. You apply for Medicaid. The look back flags those transfers. Penalty, you carry costs longer and consider selling investments at a bad time. Path B, home shield, bathroom first. Anti-slip, bench, 2 stud-mounted bars. Handheld sprayer, brighter light. Stairs and entry. Rails both sides, non-slip treads, stable mat, higher lumen bulbs. Hall/bedroom. Cord control, anchored rugs, night lights, clear paths. Care plan, 2 focus blocks weekly, backups, and notes. Family caregiver agreement at market rate with logs and receipts. Elder law consult on state-allowed tools, like enhanced life estate deeds where permitted, or irrevocable trusts planned outside the look-back window to reduce estate recovery exposure. Result, fewer incidents, fewer paid hours, and dollars that remain eligible or recoverable. Quick reality check on facts, so you're grounded. In most states, the long-term care Medicaid look-back is 60 months. California currently uses a shorter window for nursing home care and no look-back for certain home and community services. New York uses 5 years for nursing home care and, at present, no look-back for some community Medicaid. Rules change, so you verify specifics with an elder law attorney in your state. Caregiver agreements convert family help from gifts to documented services. And even if a primary residence is exempt during life, estate recovery can pursue reimbursement after death unless you've used a state-allowed tool and proper timing. Humor beat, my shag carpet from the 1970s is basically a booby trap. If your socks ski across the living room, the house is filing a complaint. If you remember nothing else here, remember this. Safety first, plan the help, and time the legal moves. Paid off isn't protected. Free isn't free. Your best savings are the costs you never trigger. A Medicaid look-back ambush. 5 years that can cost your house. Before we continue, you need to see the paperwork that bites. Medicaid's look-back rule is basically a 60-month audit in most states. When you apply for long-term care Medicaid, home care waivers, assisted living waivers, or nursing home coverage, the state reviews 5 years of transactions to spot gifts below market transfers and off-the-books family payments. If they find them, you don't get a slap on the wrist. You get a penalty period where Medicaid won't pay. Plain English, gifts and non-compliant payments don't disappear. The state divides the amount transferred by a regional average cost of care to calculate how long you're ineligible. During that penalty, you pay out of pocket. That's when people sell investments at the worst time or borrow against home equity in a panic. Now, here's where most people mess up. I'll just put the house in my kid's name. 2 problems. 1, that deed is usually a disqualifying transfer inside 5 years. 2, you just handed your roof to your child's risks, divorce, lawsuits, creditors. You lose control and may still face estate recovery later. There's a cleaner set of tools used at the right time that balance control, eligibility, and protection. Quick state nuance so you don't rely on myths. In most states, the look-back for long-term care Medicaid is 5 years. California currently uses a shorter window for nursing home Medicaid and no look-back for certain home and community services. New York uses 5 years for nursing home Medicaid, and as of today, No look back for some community Medicaid. Rules change. Verify with an elder law attorney in your state before you move a dollar. What about the house? Often, your primary residence is exempt while you live there, up to an equity cap that varies by state and situation. Exempt today doesn't mean protected forever. After death, many states pursue estate recovery for what Medicaid paid. That's the second ambush. You qualify now, but your estate gets the bill later unless you plan ahead using state-allowed tools. Let me show you how families trigger penalties without realizing it. You pay your daughter $1,000 a month for helping out without a written agreement. No timesheets, no market rate justification. It feels fair. On paper, Medicaid sees gifts. Over 2 years, that's $24,000 treated as transfers. At application, those dollars become months of ineligibility. You can keep care dollars in the family, you just need documentation and fair market terms before the first dollar moves. The fix is a caregiver agreement. Duties, schedule, a local market rate, and record keeping. Pay by check or e-transfer with clear memos. Keep timesheets and receipts. That turns family help into a documented expense instead of a gift. It also reduces sibling friction because expectations are written down and signed. Now, the legal tool most neighbors never hear about. In states that allow it, an enhanced life estate deed, often called a ladybird deed. It lets you keep control while alive. You can sell, refinance, or change beneficiaries. And on death, the property transfers outside probate, which can help avoid estate recovery where permitted. It's not available everywhere, so ask your attorney whether your state recognizes it and how it interacts with recovery rules. Next, irrevocable trusts, specifically a Medicaid asset protection trust drafted for your state. If you place your home into a properly structured irrevocable trust more than 5 years before applying, it can be excluded from resource calculations and may avoid estate recovery while preserving a step-up in basis for heirs if drafted correctly. Do it inside the 5-year window, and you've likely triggered a penalty. Timing is everything. Traditional life estates are another option, but note the trade-off. You keep the right to live there, while remainder beneficiaries get a vested interest. You usually can't sell or mortgage without their consent, and you can't freely change beneficiaries. It can help with probate, but it limits flexibility compared with a ladybird deed in states that allow the enhanced version. Here's a practical do this, not that you can run this week. Stop undocumented family payments. Pause until a caregiver agreement is signed at market rate. Hold 5 years of bank and credit statements. Highlight gifts and transfers so your attorney can triage. Get your deed, mortgage, and title info into a binder. No quick transfers. Discuss state-allowed tools first. Book an elder law consult. Ask, what's my state's look-back by program? What's exempt versus penalized? Do ladybird deeds, transfer on death deeds, life estates, or irrevocable trusts fit my goals and timing? Already made gifts? Don't panic. Sometimes funds can be returned to cure penalties. Hours can be documented under a compliant agreement going forward, or you can align spend down with exempt uses like necessary home safety modifications. The rule is simple. Stop digging, document cleanly, and get a map. If you remember nothing else here, remember this. Eligibility is a clock, not a guess. 5 years of transactions follow you into the application. Keep family pay clean with paperwork. Use state-allowed tools at the right time to reduce recovery risk. And never trade control for quick fixes that backfire when you need care most. Equity at risk. How falls turn a house into a hospital. Let's connect safety to dollars, because this is where small hazards quietly become big bills. One bad step in a slick bathroom or on a dim stair doesn't just bruise a hip. It opens a tab, ER copay, imaging, a hospital stay, skilled rehab, home health, equipment, transportation, and weeks of paid help while you regain confidence. Medicare covers parts, but coinsurance, deductibles, and everything outside medical billing, rides, missed work for family meals, and house fixes still hit your wallet. Those out-of-pocket drips drain the very cash you need to fund prevention and clean Medicaid planning. The danger zones aren't random. It's a triangle: bathroom, stairs, and entryway. Bathrooms are tight, slick, and full of awkward moves. Step over, pivot, twist. Stairs demand vision, strength, and precise foot placement. Entryways add shoes, bags, weather, and a lip that grabs toes. When anyone is unsafe, risk rises. When 2 or 3 stack, the house becomes a hospital in waiting. Now, here's where most people mess up. I'm careful. Careful doesn't beat wet tile, soap film, or a tall tub threshold. Falls rarely announce themselves. They happen while rushing for a phone, turning with a laundry basket, or trying not to drip water on the floor. Environment beats caution. If the environment is stacked against you, make the quick math visible. A mild fracture or bad sprain can still set off an ER visit, X-ray or CT, follow-ups, a few weeks of therapy, a shower chair, a walker, and paid help while you steady transfers, plus ride costs and family time. If it escalates to a hip fracture, add surgery, inpatient days, skilled nursing, longer rehab, and an even longer tail of home assistance. Across a year, cascades like this commonly land in the thousands to tens of thousands out of pocket, once copays, coinsurance, equipment, transport, and extra hours stack. And crisis decisions tend to produce paperwork mistakes, like informal family payments, that bite you during Medicaid's 5-year look-back. Contrast that with a few $100s and a couple of focused weekends up front. The payoff is probability. Non-slip treatments where water lives, a transfer bench that removes the high tub step, 2 grab bars into studs, a handheld sprayer so your feet stay planted, night lights and motion sensors for midnight trips, bright, even stair lighting, rails on both sides, non-slip treads, a rigid entry mat that doesn't skitter, anchored rugs, and cord control. That's not a remodel. It's targeted friction that stops momentum and surprise. Micro story. A viewer swapped a sliding bath mat for adhesive anti-slip, added a transfer bench, mounted 2 stud-anchored bars, placed motion night lights to the bathroom, and put clear grip tape on stair edges. 2 weeks in, they reported 0 catch moments getting into the tub, and no, more stutter step on the second stair. With steadier footing, they canceled for standby bathing hours and delayed a pricey conversion. Same house, better odds. Before we continue, you need the principle that makes this stick. Attention beats perfection. A $20 anti-slip kit on the right tile saves more than a $2,000 vanity. A second stair rail beats new paint. Bright, even light outperforms fancy fixtures with dim bulbs. The reason this works is simple. Falls are force plus surprise. Reduce slippery, remove high steps or bridge them, give hands a reliable hold, and see hazards early. Force drops, surprise disappears. Common mistakes to avoid. Mounting a grab bar into drywall anchors. Looks safe, fails under load. Using suction bars on textured tile. False security. Keeping fluffy throw rugs because they're pretty, they bunch, curl, and catch toes. Relying on sticky bath mats that slide once soap hits. Picking mood bulbs over visibility. If you remember nothing else here, remember this. Install into studs, anchor rugs, upgrade lighting, and lower or bridge high steps. Here's a try this week checklist that buys fast safety. Bathroom. A transfer bench straddling the tub wall. 2 24, 36-inch grab bars into studs. 1 vertical or angled at entry, 1 horizontal along the long wall. A handheld sprayer reachable from the bench. Adhesive anti-slip strips where feet land. And on the first step out, brighter, diffused light to cut glare. Stairs and entry. Rails on both sides end to end. Non-slip treads or clear grip tape on edges. 100 to 150 lumen, even lighting, a rigid, heavy-backed entry mat that doesn't skate. outdoor grip strips on the first porch step if rain or frost visits. Bedroom and halls, motion night lights creating a runway, cord clips, and a low-profile cover so nothing crosses paths. Rug anchors or no rugs in walk zones, a chair height that lets you stand without rocking. The payoff isn't just fewer falls. It's shorter recovery if something happens, fewer paid hours, calmer decision-making, and cleaner paperwork while you set up a caregiver agreement and book an elder law consult. Prevention buys time. And time protects equity because you'll spend on legit safety upgrades instead of crisis gaps, and you'll document family help correctly instead of tripping the look back. Quick win for today. Place 2 motion night lights on the bed-to-bath path and put anti-slip strips in the tub. Both take minutes and change your footing tonight. Then schedule 1 rail upgrade and anchor the worst rug this week. Take photos, save receipts, and drop them in your home shield binder. You're not just safer, you're building a paper trail that supports compliant spend down if Medicaid planning is on your horizon. If you remember nothing else, remember this. Fix the triangle and you shrink both risk and bills. Bathroom first, then stairs and entry, then pathways and light. Every fall you prevent keeps cash flexible for documented family care. And the legal timing that saves your house from becoming the state's reimbursement plan. The $100 home audit. Find and fix the big 3. Let's turn prevention into a quick system you can finish this week. We're doing a $100 home audit that targets the big 3 hazards: bathroom, stairs/entry, and bedroom/halls, using one simple rule: light, grip, trip. Better lighting, reliable handholds, and 0 trip points. You'll walk your space once, tag problems in minutes, and fix the worst first. Grab a pencil, sticky notes, and your phone flashlight. Start at your bed and trace your morning path to the bathroom, then to the kitchen, then to your main exit, and stairs. Every time your foot hesitates, your hand searches for support, or your eyes strain, tag the spot. Write L for light, G for grip, T for trip. At the end, you'll have a map of your personal danger zones. Bathroom first, because wet surfaces and awkward steps turn caution into slips. Stand at the tub or shower threshold and ask 3 questions. Can I enter without lifting high? Can my hand grab a solid bar anchored into studs? Can I see the floor clearly even with steam? If any answer is no, tag it. Step inside. Smooth equals slippery. That's a T for anti-slip treatment. Check the toilet. If it's low or wobbly on stand-up, tag G for grab and H for height. Lighting glare, tag L, and plan for bright, diffused light. Now stairs and entry. Place a hand on each side of the stairs. If you can't, tag G for missing second rail. Look at each tread edge. Glossy or worn smooth earns a T. Switch the lights off. Let your eyes adjust for a slow 5 count. If it's dim or patchy, tag L. At the door, stomp the mat. If it skates, tag T. If rain or frost hits the first step, add G/T for rail plus outdoor grip strips. Bedroom and halls next. Sit on the bed, then stand. If you rock forward or push hard with your hands, tag H for height. Scan the walking lane to the bathroom and kitchen. Any cords crossing? Tag T. Throw rugs? Tag T, unless they're anchored. Walk the path with only night lights. If you don't have a runway of light, tag L for motion units placed low and early. Prioritize the cheapest, biggest wins. Think in layers. See it, hold it, don't trip on it. For most homes, $100 buys a strong first pass. For motion night lights, a pack of adhesive anti-slip strips, a roll of clear stair grip tape, 2 sets of rug anchors, a rigid entry mat with a grippy backing, and a pack of cable clips with a low-profile cord cover. If you catch a sale, add a handheld shower sprayer. If the budget is extra tight, start with lights and anti-slip. Those 2 changes pay back immediately in confidence. Install sequence matters. Do lighting first, because vision guides every step. Place motion lights so they trigger before the turn, not after. Aim them low to avoid glare at 2 a.m. Next, anchor surfaces. Anti-slip strips go exactly where your feet land in the tub, and on the first step out, grip tape sits tight to stair edges. Anchors go on rug corners and across the center. Then add handholds. If grab bars aren't in today's budget, stage a stable shower chair and plan bars into studs this week. On stairs, the second rail is a high-impact upgrade. Book it. Avoid common mistakes. Don't stick anti-slip strips on dusty tile. Clean and dry first. Don't trust suction bars on textured surfaces. You need studs. Don't use tiny rug dots. They peel and curl. Don't mount blinding night lights at eye height. Keep them low and warm. Now, run a mini example. So this sticks. A viewer tagged 6 spots in 10 minutes. Dim hall corner, L, sliding bath mat, T, high tub step, G/T, single stair rail, G, slick tread edges, T, and a skating entry mat, T. They spent under $90 on motion lights, anti-slip strips, grip tape, anchors, and a rigid mat. Install took an afternoon. Result, steadier midnight walks, planted feet in the shower, cleaner stair footing, and fewer standby helper minutes. Week 2, they added a second rail and kept every receipt and photo in a binder. Clean proof if they later need a compliance spend down. Your turn. Pick 2 quick wins today. Motion lights on the bed-to-bath path and anti-slip strips in the tub. Schedule 1 stair upgrade this week, either the second rail or grip tape on every tread edge. Anchor the worst rug and clear cords with clips. Take photos and label each purchase, what you fixed, and the date. Those photos aren't just pride. They're documentation that your spending was necessary and safety-focused. To keep momentum, put your sticky note map on the fridge. Cross notes off as you fix them. Add 1 reminder, light grip trip every month. Do a nighttime walkthrough, a rail tug test, a stair edge check, and a mat stomp. If anything shifts, fix it that week. 2 final tips that separate beginners from pros. 1. Sequence tasks into 90-minute blocks if you're using helpers. Bathroom safety check first. Then laundry start, then kitchen wipe down, then a quick trip hazard sweep. 2. Keep a 1-page log in your binder. Date, fix, receipt, photo. Clean paper beats memory when you need to prove your spend down or show a clinician why home care hours can taper safely. Light, grip, trip. Run the audit, fix the worst first, and buy back your odds today. Prevention buys time, and time protects equity. Bathroom first, the one upgrade that slashes risk. If you only tackle 1 room, make it the bathroom. It's the smallest space with the biggest consequences, and it carries the highest surprise factor. 1 slip here triggers the whole cascade. ER, imaging, rehab, home help, while a few targeted upgrades flip the odds fast. We're not building a spa. We're building safety that you can feel today. Why this matters? The bathroom concentrates 3 forces behind falls. The high step over a tub threshold, slick surfaces from soap and water, and weak leverage during sit to stand. Done wrong, speed, and surprise win. Done right, you move slower with planted feet, 2 solid handholds, and a clear view of the floor. The payoff is both physical and financial. Fewer incidents, shorter recovery, and fewer standby hours. Let's make the upgrade simple with 2 paths: low-cost improvements to what you already have, and access conversions that cut the step height. Start with what's fastest. The quick, high payoff kit is 4 pieces that work together. 1, a transfer bench that straddles the tub wall, so you sit first and slide in instead of stepping high on a wet surface. 2, a handheld shower sprayer with a long hose mounted within reach from the bench, so you wash while feet stay planted. 3, adhesive anti-slip strips placed underfoot inside the tub, and on the first step out where soap makes the floor treacherous. For 2, grab bars mounted into studs one vertical or angled at the entry for the hand that guides you down, and one horizontal along the long wall for leverage while you slide and stand. The thing most people miss is installation. Suction cups don't count on textured tile. Drywall anchors fail under load. You need studs or a rated mounting system installed by someone who knows what's behind tile. If you rent, use a tension pole bar rated for real body weight as a bridge while you pursue permanent approval. Trust is part of safety. A bar that moves once won't be used the next time you need it. If the tub wall is the true enemy, look at low-step solutions. A professional tub cut-in creates a lower portal in your existing tub, so the step height drops dramatically, often done in a day. For some, a walk-in shower conversion is worth it, but you can get most of the safety without a full remodel. The smart sequence is cut the step height and add bench and bars first. That buys time and preserves cash while you decide if a larger project is necessary later. Don't forget sit to stand. A comfort height toilet or a riser with sturdy side frames reduces knee strain, and that forward tip that causes a misstep. Pair it with a wall-mounted bar within easy reach. Add a small shelf at bench height for soap and shampoo so you aren't twisting or reaching low. Twists plus wet tile are trouble. Here's a clean placement you can copy. Entry bar, vertical or slightly angled on the hinge side, roughly mid-thigh to chest height. When standing, so you can grip while you lower to the bench. Long bar, horizontal along the main wall at about hip height. When seated, so you can slide, pivot, and stand without twisting. Sprayer dock, reachable from the seated position without leaning, with hose slack that doesn't tug. Lighting is part of safety. Bright, even light over the tub, and vanity helps you see water and soap film. Use covered fixtures or diffused bulbs to avoid glare and wet eyes. Add a motion night light inside the doorway and one just outside, so you never enter darkness half asleep. Budget tiers so you can act today. Good. Transfer bench, handheld sprayer, anti-slip strips, motion night light, and a raised seat or side frame riser, often achievable for a few $100s. Better. Add 2 stud-mounted grab bars, a brighter covered fixture, and a second towel bar for light support while drying. Best, a tub cut-in or low-step conversion with 2 to 3 grab bars, a built-in or fold-down seat, lever-style faucet handles, and wet-rated anti-slip flooring. Common mistakes that quietly undo progress. Mounting bars too high or too low for leverage. Test grips while seated and standing before you drill. Placing the sprayer out of reach, so you have to stand to grab it. Keeping a plush bath mat in the tub. Pretty, but it floats and slides. Letting bottles live on the floor. Your feet should never hunt around containers. Now, the practical sequence to lock this in. Day 1. Order the transfer bench and handheld sprayer. Pick up anti-slip strips and a warm color motion night light, and schedule a grab bar install into studs. Day 2. Test the bench height. Adjust so hips sit slightly higher than knees. It makes standing smoother. Day 3. Mount bars where your hands actually land, not where the studs are easiest. Use proper anchors if the stud location demands a support plate. Day 4. Place the sprayer so you can unclip and rinse without leaning. Day 5. Label each fix, take photos, and save every receipt in your binder. These are legitimate safety expenses and clean documentation if you're aligning spend down later. Micro story for confidence. A client added a bench, 2 stud-mounted bars, anti-slip, a sprayer, and a raised seat. She stopped postponing showers. After 2 weeks, her morning stiffness dropped, gait steadied by noon, and she canceled for standby bathroom hours per week. The month 1 savings paid for the upgrades. If the tub still feels daunting after these changes, get a tub cut-in quote. You don't have to say yes today. Having a price and a contractor name turns someday into a scheduled decision when it makes sense. If you remember nothing else, remember this. Lower the step, anchor the hands, plant the feet, and brighten the view. Bathroom first slashes risk fastest, shrinks paid hours, and buys time to plan legal moves calmly before paperwork and penalties start calling the shots. The home care math, when help saves you or drains you. Let's talk hours and dollars, because this is where a little help either buys independence or quietly eats your budget. The thing most people miss is that home care pricing isn't just an hourly rate. It's minimum visit lengths, weekend premiums, transportation add-ons, and slow creep from quick check-ins to daily blocks. Without a plan, the bill grows while risk stays the same. First, separate two buckets in your mind. Bucket 1 is short-term recovery help after a fall, a hospital stay, or rehab. The goal is targeted assistance that accelerates independence, bathing, safe transfers, meal prep, medication organization. So hours taper as you recover. Bucket 2 is ongoing support, routine bathing, dressing, toileting, housekeeping, and companionship. The mistake is treating recovery like it's ongoing. If recovery hours don't shrink, you're paying for habits, not outcomes. Here's how creep happens. You start with 1 2-hour safety visit. The agency minimum forces a third hour. You move a slot to Sunday weekend premium. A ride to an appointment gets added. A near fall triggers another just-in-case block. By month 2, you're at 24 to 30 hours without improving safety. The work didn't change. The packaging did. The fix is a task-first schedule. Instead of open hours, create 90-minute focus blocks that always start with safety. A clean block looks like this. Bathroom safety check, shower and hair wash, laundry started and transferred, kitchen wipe down, trash out, medication setup, and a 5-minute trip hazard sweep. Once those tasks are complete, the visit ends. Batch errands in a separate block, so drive time doesn't eat your care time. Same support, fewer hours, and better outcomes. Now, agency versus private hire. Agencies cost more per hour but handle screening, payroll, backups, liability coverage, and replacements. Private hires can be cheaper, but you become the employer, taxes, scheduling, and coverage for sick days are on you. If you pay family, don't wing it. A written caregiver agreement at a fair local rate with logs and receipts keeps payments from being treated as gifts under Medicaid's look back in most states. Pay by check or e-transfer with clear memos. Keep timesheets. That paperwork protects eligibility and reduces family tension. Pricing realities to expect. Most agencies require 2 to 4 hours per visit, with surcharges for evenings, weekends, and holidays. Specialized tasks can change the rate. Transportation is often billed separately. That means 3 visits a week quickly adds up to 24 hours a month, even before recovery weeks. So set a monthly cap tied to your budget and to the real task load. Load that cap into your calendar as blocks, not open hours. Here's a 1-week logging drill that exposes bloat. For 7 days, write what you needed, what was actually done, and how long it took. Then circle repeaters. Those are your block tasks. Put safety tasks at the front of every block. Put low-value chores last or on a monthly list. Weekly review. If a task duplicates, fix the sequence, not the total hours. Guardrails that keep spending in check. Monthly cap based on your financial plan. Blocks always begin with safety and meds. A simple post-visit note. Tasks completed, risk spotted, what changed. A weekly review to cut any minutes that didn't move safety or independence. When should you add hours? 3 triggers. New instability. You start grabbing furniture, medication errors or missed doses, or hygiene slipping. When you cut, when transfers are steady, bathing is safe with equipment, and you can batch chores without wobble. Add hours to reduce risk. Remove hours once risk drops. That rhythm keeps you honest. A quick micro story, so this lands. A viewer ran 3 2-hour visits weekly for safety and housekeeping. we rebuilt into two 90-minute blocks focusing on bathroom safety, shower, laundry start/transfer, meds, and a 5-minute hazard sweep. We moved housekeeping dusting to a monthly list and batched errands into a separate block twice a month. They shifted one weekend slot to a weekday, dropping the premium. Result: 1/3 fewer hours with the same safety coverage. If you're mixing agency help with family support, don't pay family informally alongside agency time for the same tasks. That's how Medicaid reviewers interpret duplication and gifts. Channel family to rides, meal batch prep, or companionship, and keep their pay clean under the caregiver agreement with logs. Agencies handle the heavier personal care on scheduled blocks. Clear lanes prevent overlap and cut hours. Finally, numbers you can use today. Set a provisional cap. Say, 12 to 16 hours a month for recovery support, organized as 90-minute safety blocks. If you need more for a short window, add it with an end date and a review on the calendar. Track outcomes. Fewer near falls, faster shower times with the bench and bars, no missed meds, and fewer standby minutes. If outcomes hold, you taper. If outcomes slip, you add a targeted block, not a floating hour. The headline is simple. Hours don't buy safety, tasks do. Write the list, batch the work, front load safety, document the visit, and let outcomes, not fear, set the schedule. That's how help saves you instead of draining you. Keep it in the family, caregiver agreements done right. This is the document that turns thanks for helping into clean, protected care dollars. A caregiver agreement, also called a personal care agreement, spells out the services a family member provides and the market rate pay for those services. Without it, Medicaid reviewers often treat family payments as gifts during the 60-month look-back in most states. Gifts trigger a penalty period. Paperwork prevents that. Why this matters? You're going to pay in time, money, or stress. Paying family informally feels fair, but it risks eligibility and creates sibling friction later. Paying family under a written, market rate agreement with timesheets turns care into a documented expense that keeps dollars in the family and keeps your future application clean. It also sets expectations, who does what when, and how you'll track it. Let's make the structure simple. 4 pillars: duties, schedule, rate, and records. Duties are the what. Be specific and stick to non-medical personal care, unless the caregiver is licensed. List bathing assistance and bathroom safety checks, safe transfers with your bench and grab bars, meal prep and grocery coordination, medication setup and reminders, not dispensing like a nurse, laundry start and transfer, light housekeeping that reduces slip risks, transportation to appointments, and a 5-minute trip hazard sweep each visit. Tie these to your home safety routine. So hours by outcomes, not idle time. Schedule is the when. Don't write as needed. Use a weekly outline with 90-minute focus blocks, exactly like we built in home care math. 2 blocks per week that start with safety tasks, plus an every other week errand block. Include a temporary ramp clause for post-hospital or rehab periods that allows extra hours for, say, 2 to 4 weeks, then auto-reverts. That taper protects your budget and shows Medicaid that hours aren't drifting. Rate is the how much. It has to be reasonable for your area. Call 2 agencies and note their hourly range for non-medical personal care. Choose a fair rate within or slightly under that range. Document the source. If you reimburse mileage for rides, set a per-mile rate aligned with a common benchmark and list when it applies. Avoid lump sum prepayments for lifetime care. Medicaid sees unearned bulk payments as gifts. Records are the proof. Each visit needs a log, date, start and end times, tasks completed, observations or risk spotted, and caregiver signature. Keep receipts for supplies. Pay by check or electronic transfer, with caregiving services per agreement. In the memo, file everything in your Home Shield binder under receipts/logs. This paper trail is what distinguishes services from gifts in a review. Now, here's where most people mess up. Backdating. Don't. Agreements should be prospective. If you already paid informally, stop, document real tasks going forward, and talk to an elder law attorney about possible cures, returning funds, aligning spend down to safety upgrades, or restructuring pay under a clean agreement. Another trap is vague duties. Help around the house. Invites questions. Write exactly what you'll do, where the safety tasks live, and how long it takes. Taxes matter. Family caregivers are usually household employees if they work in your home. That means payroll, withholding, and year-end forms. Use a household payroll service or a tax pro. Misclassifying as an independent contractor can backfire. Clean. Payroll supports the agreement and avoid surprises that derail eligibility or blow up family harmony. Spouses are special. In many states and programs, paying a spouse under Medicaid won't help eligibility. Ask your elder law attorney how your state treats spousal pay. If spousal pay isn't recognized, you can still use the agreement framework for clarity within the family, but don't expect those payments to count as a spend down. Let me show you the do this, not that sequence. This week, build your task list from the week-long log and your safety plan. Bathroom safety checks, shower days, laundry start/transfer, kitchen wipe down, trash, medication setup, and the 5-minute hazard sweep. Put them at the front of each block. Call 2 local agencies and capture hourly rates and minimum visits. Save the quotes. Draft the agreement with duties, schedule, rate, mileage rules, logs required, a start date, and a review date every 6 or 12 months. Include a temporary recovery ramp clause. Run it past an elder law attorney in your state for compliance and any state-specific language. Ask how your state treats caregiver pay, what documentation Medicaid expects, and whether any program excludes spousal pay. Start clean on the agreed date. Turn on payroll. Keep logs from day one. Pay only for logged hours tied to listed tasks. Common red flags to avoid. Round identical hours every week when tasks vary. Cash envelopes with no memos. Paying for tasks also billed by an agency the same day. And letting the caregiver control all finances. Separate roles and keep oversight. One person can be paid caregiver, another can manage bills. A quick micro story. A son accepted $900 a month for gas and time. 2 years later, the Medicaid review flagged $21,600 as gifts. We paused payments, drafted a task-first agreement at market rate, and started payroll with logs. For the past dollars, the attorney mapped a partial cure and used compliant spend down on grab bars, a transfer bench, and lighting. It wasn't perfect, but the bleeding stopped and eligibility got back on track. Results when you do this right. Dollars stay in the family, hours match safety outcomes, eligibility remains intact, and siblings see a fair plan instead of guessing. Add 1 monthly meeting, 10 minutes to review logs, adjust tasks, and sign off. If recovery goals are met, taper hours. If new risks show up, add a targeted block with an end date. Final checklist you can copy today. Duties written and tied to safety tasks. Weekly schedule using 90-minute blocks. Market rate pay documented with 2 local quotes. Logs with start/end times and completed tasks. Payroll turned on. Receipts and timesheets in the binder. Attorney review scheduled. That's how you protect care dollars and eligibility. Legal tools to ask without turning life family, estate, ladybird deed, trusts. Quick reminder, this is a menu to discuss with an elder law attorney in your state, not legal advice. Your goals are simple. Keep control while you're living, stay eligible when you need care, and minimize estate recovery after you're gone. The right tool depends on state law, timing, and your family situation. Start with the baseline, a traditional life estate. You deed the remainder to your beneficiaries now and keep a life estate, the right to live there for life. The upside is probate avoidance for the home and a potential step up in basis at death. The catch is control. Once you record a standard life estate, remainder beneficiaries hold a vested interest. You typically can't sell or mortgage without their consent, and you can't freely change who gets the house. If relationships shift or a beneficiary faces divorce or creditor issues, you've lost flexibility. It can fit certain families, but you need to be comfortable with those handcuffs. Now, the upgrade that many people overlook, the enhanced life estate deed, often called a ladybird deed, in states that allow it. Functionally, it's a life estate with a retained power of control. You can sell, mortgage, or even change remainder beneficiaries during your lifetime without their consent. At death, the property passes outside probate to the named remainder, which can help avoid Medicaid estate recovery where permitted. Why this matters: you keep control today and streamline transfer tomorrow, and you generally don't trigger a disqualifying transfer because you retained full powers while alive. Not every state recognizes ladybird deeds, so ask your attorney if your state allows them and how your Medicaid agency treats them with recovery rules. Next, irrevocable trusts, specifically a Medicaid Asset Protection Trust, MAPT, drafted for your state. In plain English, you transfer the home to a properly structured irrevocable trust and appoint a trusted trustee. If done more than 5 years before applying for long-term care Medicaid in most states, the home can be excluded from resource calculations and may avoid estate recovery while still passing with a step-up in basis if the trust is drafted as a grantor trust for tax purposes. The trade-off is real. You can't treat the house like a checking account. You've traded easy access for protection. Do it inside the 5-year look-back, and you likely create a transfer penalty. That's why comp planning in your late 60s or early 70s often feels best. You start the clock without rushing. When do trusts shine? When your state doesn't allow ladybird deeds, or when you want one structure to handle the home and other assets under a coordinated plan. When do they struggle? Late starts and DIY drafting. You need state-specific language to preserve tax treatment, control distributions, and document intent. Ask your attorney 5 exact questions. Will the trust be grantor for tax purposes to preserve the home's step-up? Who serves as trustee? And what day-to-day powers do they have? Can the trust pay property taxes, insurance, and repairs directly? How do capital improvements get handled to preserve basis records? How does this trust interact with state recovery rules? Let's put these options side by side in your head. Traditional life estate. Simple, cheaper, probate avoidance, but limited flexibility and beneficiary consent required for big moves. Ladybird deed, where allowed control retained, changeable remainder, non-probate transfer, and in many states a helpful posture against recovery, often without a look-back penalty because you kept powers. Irrevocable MAPT, strongest shield when timed early, broader planning for multiple assets, but you give up direct control and must respect the 5-year window. 2 more tools worth asking about. 1. Transfer on death, TOD, or beneficiary deeds, where available. These can pass the home outside probate at death, preserving control during life, though they don't always carry the same recovery posture as ladybird deeds. State-specific advice is key. 2. Non-home assets with beneficiary designations, POD/TOD for accounts, to keep probate simple without touching the house deed while you plan larger moves. Here's a clean implementation sequence that keeps you out of trouble. First, stop any quick transfers. Don't deed to kids casually. Inside 5 years, that's usually a penalized gift, and you've exposed the house to their risks. Second, gather 5 years of statements and your deed documents into your binder. Third, book an elder law consult in your state. Ask 4 questions. Does our state allow ladybird deeds? And do they help with recovery? If not, does a TOD deed exist? And how is it treated? Would a Medicaid Asset Protection Trust fit our timeline? And can it be drafted to preserve grantor tax status and basis step-up? What's our state's current home equity limit for eligibility and any exceptions? If you've already made transfers, don't panic. Sometimes funds can be returned, caregiver agreements can convert ongoing support into compliant pay, and necessary home safety upgrades can be used as spend down that improves your odds of aging in place. The key is to stop digging and document cleanly from today forward. One caution people rarely hear: coordinate the house plan with your caregiving plan. A ladybird deed or trust protects the asset's destination, but undocumented family payments can still trigger look-back penalties that force you to carry costs longer. That's why your caregiver agreement and your deed or trust decision live in the same binder. Paperwork across both lanes is what keeps equity pointed at care, not penalties and recovery. If you remember nothing else, remember this: pick the tool that matches your state and your timing, keep control where you can, and start early enough that the 5-year clock isn't the loudest voice in the room. Timing and documentation turn legal options into real protection. Timing is everything. Pick your path by this age. Before you pick tools, you need a calendar. Planning isn't about memorizing rules. It's about sequencing moves while life is calm. The decision window that protects the most equity usually shows up before a crisis forces the issue. If you wait for a fall or a rushed discharge, you'll reach for the fastest option, not the best one. Why 68 to 72 hits the sweet spot for most families. Housing decisions are mostly settled. You can still test stairs and the bathroom upgrades yourself. And you're early enough to start any 5-year clocks without panic. That span buys options. Finish the bathroom first kit. Formalize family pay under a caregiver agreement. And sit with an elder law attorney to ask state-specific questions about Lady Bird deeds, transfer on death deeds, or irrevocable trusts. Earlier is fine. Later can still work. But 68 to 72 tends to be the least stressful zone to plan cleanly. Picking your path is simple. Decide whether you'll stay put with safety upgrades and a scalable caregiver plan. Right size to a safer layout before stairs and tubs become daily fights. Or pre-position legal structure, deed or trust, so the home bypasses probate and, where allowed, reduces estate recovery risk while your 5-year window quietly runs. Once you choose, everything else clicks. You stop asking, "What should we do?" and start asking, "What's next on our map?" Build a 1-page family policy that lives where everyone can find it. It answers 5 things: who to call first after a fall, where the binder lives, how family pay works, agreement rate, timesheets, payroll, the home plan, bench, bars, rails, lights, and the legal path you're pursuing: ladybird deed, if allowed, TOD deed, if applicable, or trust timing. 1 call, 1 binder, 1 payment path. Chaos hates clarity. Use a 4-quarter rhythm for year 1, so you're not juggling everything at once. Quarter 1, safety and logs. Finish the bathroom kit, transfer bench, stud-mounted bars, anti-slip, handheld sprayer, bright, diffused light. Add the second stair rail, grip tape, motion night lights, anchored rugs, and cord control. Start a simple care log, even if family is just checking in. Save receipts and photos in the binder. The reason this works is momentum. You immediately lower fall risk while creating the paper trail that later proves necessity and market rate pay. Quarter 2, care and cash. Draft and sign the caregiver agreement. Turn on household payroll if you're paying family. Rebuild agency hours into 90-minute task blocks that front-load safety. Set a monthly cap tied to tasks. Create a 12-month care buffer in a separate account. Start with 1 month and auto-transfer until you reach 12. If a line of credit will be your bridge for one-time safety work, establish it while you're well. Access is easier now than after a health event. Quarter 3, legal consult and documents. Bring the binder to an elder law attorney. Ask state-specific questions. Does our state allow ladybird deeds? And how do they interact with recovery? If not, do TOD deeds exist? And how are they treated? Would a Medicaid asset protection trust fit our timeline, drafted as grantor for tax purposes? And how does it affect step-up in basis? What's our current home equity limit for eligibility? Confirm look-back rules by program. Nursing home Medicaid, home and community-based services, and any exceptions. Quarter 4, stress test and huddle. Run a mini rehearsal. Pretend you're discharged from rehab for 1 week. Does the contact sheet work? Can the caregiver plan flex with clean logs? Are 2 in-network skilled nursing facilities and a home health agency identified by name and NPI? Hold a 30-minute family meeting. Show where the binder lives, the care schedule, the pay method, and the safety rules. Assign a backup for calls and a driver for appointments. What if you're 75, 80, or older and starting now? You can still win. Start with safety. This week, lights, strips, bars, a bench, a second rail. Formalize the caregiver agreement next. Then book the legal consult. If you made transfers inside 5 years, don't freeze. Attorneys see this every day. Sometimes funds can be returned to cure a penalty. Ongoing help can be converted into compliant pay under an agreement, or spend down can align with necessary home modifications that reduce risk and support eligibility. The rule stands: stop digging, document cleanly, and sequence repairs, care, then legal. A quick micro story for confidence. A couple in their early 70s did bathroom first, added dual rails, and set a caregiver agreement for 8 winter hours. In spring, they recorded a ladybird deed in a state that allows it and updated beneficiaries on accounts. Summer, they ran a 3-day stress test and found 1 missing contact for authorizations, fixed in an hour. Their calendar, safety, care, legal, test, turned hope into a checklist. 2 final timing cues most people miss. 1, coordinate your deed or trust with your caregiver agreement. Protecting the asset's destination doesn't help if informal family pay triggers a look-back penalty. 2, put renewal reminders in the binder, 6-month provider network checks by NPI, an annual safety tug test, a night walk, and a yearly legal check-in for rule updates. Pick your window, set your sequence, and let the clock work for you, not against you. Timing is leverage, and you just turned it to your side. Funding the plan, smart ways to pay without panic. Let's fund your home shield without lighting savings on fire. The goal isn't fancy finance. It's steady cash flow, clean paperwork, and only using big tools when the timing helps, not hurts. Start with the easiest win. Cut waste before touching assets. Do a 30-day sweep for subscriptions you forgot, duplicate services, and convenience fees. Move recurring appointments to weekdays to avoid weekend premiums. Rebuild any agency time into 90-minute task blocks so hours drop and outcomes rise. Those trims often free a few $100s a month, the bathroom kit, night lights, and a second rail paid from cash flow. Next, build a 12-month care buffer. Park 1 month of your planned helper hours in a separate savings bucket. Automate a small transfer each month until you hit 12. That buffer turns "we need help" into "we have time." It stops panic purchases, lets you compare agency policies and schedules installs when prices are sane. Keep buffer cash separate so it doesn't leak into groceries. Now, the quiet safety valve, a home equity line of credit, a HELOC. Set it up while you're healthy and income is steady. Access is easier in calm seasons. You don't have to draw a penny. You're establishing the bridge in case you need it. Use a HELOC for one-time safety projects or a temporary gap during recovery. Then repay from your buffer. Avoid using lines for ongoing hours. Bridges, not roads. What about reverse options? They're a tool, not a lifestyle. If you consider a reverse mortgage, tie it to high-impact, bounded uses, a tub cut-in and second rail, a defined caregiving ramp after surgery, or bridging to a planned right-size move. Fees and compounding interest are real. If you choose it, complete counseling, compare lenders, and document exactly how proceeds align with your safety plan and legal timing. Right size by choice, not crisis. If stairs and a tall tub fight you daily, and the retrofit is complex, moving to a single-level home with a low-step shower can drop fall risk overnight and cut helper hours. Selling in your chosen season usually beats selling after a hospitalization. The math often favors avoiding one major fall plus months of help. Use insurance you already own. Check riders on life insurance or annuities, chronic illness, long-term care acceleration, or home care riders. If triggered correctly, they can pay for in-home support or equipment. Call the carrier, get the rider guide, confirm triggers in writing, and tie benefits to your task-first schedule so dollars buy outcomes, not idle time. Here's the overlooked win: compliant spend down that improves safety. If you're moving toward Medicaid, using excess countable assets on necessary home modifications, stud-mounted grab bars, a transfer bench, anti-slip, brighter covered fixtures, a second stair rail, non-slip treads can reduce risk and align with eligibility rules. Save receipts and photos in your binder. You're converting dollars into safer footing instead of gifting them away. Let's build your step-by-step funding flow. Step 1, tighten the budget and redirect those dollars to your care buffer. Step 2, finish the $100 audit wins and the bathroom first kit from cash flow. Step 3, if needed, open a modest HELOC as a contingency without drawing. Step 4, review existing policies and riders and activate benefits only when tasks justify them. Step 5, consider reverse or a right-size move only if upgrades can't tame the house. Guardrails that prevent cost creep. Set a monthly hour cap tied to tasks. Require a short note after each visit, tasks completed, risk spotted, so you can adjust quickly, book installs on weekdays, choose solid mid-tier gear, and keep one emergency repair slot in your calendar so rush fees don't hit. When does it make sense to pull from equity? 3 moments tend to win. A defined accessibility project with clear safety payoff, a short-term bridge after a hospital stay while rehab ramps, and a timed right-size move where small draws cover deposits or overlap costs. If it's not one of those, pause and recheck your buffer, hours, and task list before you spend. Coordinate with your advisor if you'll sell investments. Crisis timing is how you lock in losses. That's why we stopped off-the-books family payments, set a caregiver agreement, and pulled 5 years of statements into your binder. You'll walk into the attorney's office with options. Reframe family help. If your daughter buys supplies or pays installers, reimburse through the caregiver agreement or a simple expense process with receipts. Clean flows prevent mystery transfers, under the look back, and keep holidays free from money tension. Fast checklist for this week. Cancel 2 unused subscriptions. Move 1 recurring appointment to a weekday. Open a dedicated care buffer account and fund month 1. Price a small HELOC while you're well. No draw. Call your insurer to confirm any riders and schedule stud-mounted bars. 2 advanced moves that punch above their weight. 1, ask your utility or city for free or discounted safety items. Some offer night lights, grab bar discounts, or weather mats for older adults. 2, talk to a local nonprofit or area agency on aging about small dollar home mod grants. Pair those with your buffer and your $100 kit to finish the big 3 zones faster. Final note on paperwork. Every purchase tied to safety, lights, strips, bench, bars, rail, treads, gets a photo and a receipt in the binder. If you activate a rider, staple the benefit letter and your task schedule behind it. If you draw on a HELOC for a defined project, write 1 sentence, why, what you installed, and the completion date. That 1 binder page turns spending into a documented plan. Money follows clarity. Trim waste, fund the buffer, line up a bridge, and only tap big equity for bounded, high-impact moves. That's how you pay without panic and keep your house working for your safety, not the other way around. The no-fall shopping list, cheap gear, big wins. Let's turn your audit into a cart you can knock out in one trip. Same rule as before. Light, grip, trip. If it helps you see sooner, hold stronger, or stop slipping, it's in. We'll keep it cheap, simple, and easy to install without a remodel. Start with your feet. Inside shoes beat fluffy slippers every day. Pick rubber soles with flat, grippy tread and a secure heel, no floppy backs. Add silicone tread house socks with grips on both sides, so if they twist, you're still stable. At the door, use a rigid, heavy-backed mat that doesn't skitter when wet. Lighting next. Grab a 6-pack of warm, motion night lights. Aim them low so they trigger before you turn. Replace dim stair and hall bulbs with bright, diffused LEDs. If glare bothers you, choose covered fixtures or frosted bulbs. A small plug-in dusk sensor by the entry handles evening light without switches. Bathroom kit is where the winds compound. Buy a transfer bench that straddles the tub wall, a handheld shower sprayer with a long hose, adhesive anti-slip strips for the tub floor and first step out, and 2 grab bars to mount into studs. If you rent, bridge with a rated tension pole bar until permanent bars are approved. Add a raised toilet seat or a side frame riser to smooth sit to stand. Keep shampoo and soap at bench height so you don't twist or reach low. Stairs and entry gear. Pick non-slip stair treads or clear grip tape for each edge. Order a second rail kit. If you only have one, pre-drilled kits make installs faster. Swap soft entry mats for a single rigid, heavy mat. Anchor it if needed. If your porch gets slick, add outdoor grip strips on the first 2 steps. Bedroom and hall fixes. Buy rug anchors or carpet tape and commit. Anchor or remove. Snag cable clips and a low-profile cord cover to clear paths. Choose a bedside lamp with a big switch or touch base. If your favorite chair is low, add a firm cushion or swap for a seat that lets you stand without rocking. Small tools you'll actually use. A reacher for high and low grabs. A long-handled sponge for calves and feet, so you're not balancing. A simple shoehorn to avoid one-leg stands. If you use a cane, add a wide base tip for wet days and uneven ground. Quick add-ons that solve common misses. A non-slip bath treatment for smooth tile. A small squeegee to clear water and stop soap film from building up. Painter's tape as a temporary bright edge on the first stair until your grip strips arrive. A wall hook or caddy at bench height for sprayer and bottles. Placement beats price. Night lights should overlap like runway lights. One by the bed, one at the door, one at the hall turn, one outside the bathroom. Anti-slip strips go exactly under your feet, not in the middle where you never stand. The sprayer must be reachable seated, no leaning. Stair treads sit tight to the nosing, press hard to seal. Entry mat edges lay flat, no curled lips. Avoid the usual traps. Suction grab bars on textured tile aren't bars, they're props. Fluffy throw rugs in walk zones bunch and flip. Tiny rug dots peel, use full-length anchors. Motion lights mounted at a height blind you at 2 a.m. stair tape on dusty edges peels. Clean and dry first. Here's a budget-friendly cart you can copy. 6 motion night lights, 1 pack of tub anti-slip strips, a handheld sprayer, a basic transfer bench, a roll of clear stair grip tape, 2 sets of rug anchors, a rigid entry mat, cable clips, a low-profile cord cover, a reacher, silicone tread socks, and a firm cushion if your chair is low. If budget allows, add a raised seat or side frame riser and a second rail kit. Now you act. Place 3 items today where you stumble most. Motion lights on the bed-to-bath path, anti-slip strips in the tub, and rug anchors on the worst offender. This weekend, install either the transfer bench and sprayer or the second rail with stair tape. Take photos, label receipts, and drop them in your binder with a 1-line note, what you fixed and the date. micro story for momentum. A viewer installed lights, anti-slip, and a bench on Saturday, anchored rugs Sunday, and added stair tape midweek. By Friday, their shuffle and feel walk to the bathroom was gone. They canceled 2 standby bathing hours and reinvested those dollars in stud-mounted grab bars. Same budget, safer house, fewer bills. 2 pro tips that stick. 1. Duplicate your winners. If a motion light location works, mirror it on the opposite path. 2. Restock cheap consumables. Keep extra anti-slip strips and grip tape on a shelf. When a strip lifts, replace it that day. No, I'll get to it. Lag. Remember, gear only works where your hands and feet actually go. Place it, test it, adjust it. Those $20 fixes keep $20,000 emergencies from starting, and they create clean, photo-backed proof of necessary safety spending if Medicaid. The 30-day home on your horizon, step by step. This is your 1-month plan to lock in safety, control hours, and protect equity. For weeks, clear wins, and a binder trail that keeps Medicaid clean and your nerves calm. You'll stack fast fixes first, then anchors, then care logistics, then the legal basics. Keep receipts and photos. Proof beats memory every time. Week 1 is safety triage. Day 1, run your light, grip, trip walk, and fix 2 things now. Place motion night lights on the bed-to-bath path and lay adhesive anti-slip strips in the tub. And the first step out. Day 2, anchor or remove the 2 slipperiest rugs and clear crossing cords with clips and a low-profile cover. Day 3, swap dim stair and hall bulbs for bright, diffused LEDs, and aim them for even coverage, no glare. Day 4, replace the sliding entry mat with a rigid, heavy-backed mat. Add outdoor grip strips on the first porch step if rain or frost visits. Day 5, mount a handheld shower sprayer within reach of your transfer bench so feet stay planted. Day 6, photograph each fix and file receipts in your binder with 1 line per item. Date, location, purpose. Day 7, nighttime walkthrough. If you hesitate anywhere, add another low-aimed motion light. Once you nail that, week 2 adds anchors and upgrades. Install a second stair rail, first to last step. Add clear grip tape or low-profile treads to each nosing and press hard for a tight seal. In the bathroom, mount 2 grab bars into studs, 1 vertical or angled at the entry, 1 horizontal along the long wall at seated hip height. Test the bench height, hips slightly above knees for easier stand UPS. Move soap and shampoo to bench height, so you never twist or reach low. Replace any fluffy bath mat in the tub with anti-slip strips and keep a dry zone mat outside, only if it's anchored. Finish with a quick tug test on bars and rails. If the tub step still feels intimidating, book a tub cut-in estimate, not a commitment, just a price and schedule. You're buying time, not rushing a remodel. Week 3 is the Caregiver plan. Build 90-minute focus blocks that start with safety, bathroom safety check, shower and hair wash, laundry start and transfer, kitchen wipe down, trash out, medication setup, and a 5-minute trip hazard sweep. That list ends the visit. No idle time. Call 2 local agencies for rate ranges and minimums and save quotes. If family helps, draft the Caregiver agreement. Duties tied to those blocks, weekly schedule, market rate pay, mileage rules, logs required, start date, and a short recovery ramp clause that auto-reverts. Turn on household payroll if you're paying family. Begin logs immediately. Date, start, /end time. Tasks completed, observations, caregiver signature. Align any agency hours to your block format and move premium slots to weekdays when possible. End the week with a 10-minute review. Cut minutes that didn't move safety or independence. Add a targeted block only if an outcome demands it. Week 4 is documents and a family huddle. Book an elder law consult in your state. Bring 5 things. 5 years of bank and credit statements, your deed and mortgage info, safety receipts and photos, the signed caregiver agreement with logs, and a 1-page question sheet on Lady Bird deeds where allowed, transfer on death deeds, life estates, irrevocable trusts, home equity limits, and look back by program. Ask for state-specific guidance in writing. Then hold a 30-minute family meeting. Show where the binder lives. Walk the contact sheet, the care blocks, the pay method, and who signs logs. Assign a backup caller and a ride captain. Close with a 5-minute safety tour. Lights on, bars tight, rails gripped. Confidence rises when everyone knows the map. Now, lock in 2 micro habits that keep the sprint alive. First, a monthly 10-minute check. Night walk, rail tug, stair edge press, mat stomp, and bulb test. If anything moves or dims, fix it this week. Second, 1-line visit notes after each block. Tasks done, risks spotted, changes. Small lines prevent big surprises and protect your Medicaid story. If money is tight, layer funding without panic. Trim 2 subscriptions this week and redirect to your care buffer. Open a dedicated savings bucket and fund 1 month of helper hours. Price a small helic while you're well, no draw. Call your insurer to confirm any chronic illness or home care riders and note triggers in writing. Ask your utility or city about free night lights, grab bar discounts, or weather mats. Pair those with your $100 kit and week 1 fixes to move faster. Come installs and resets. We'll do it later turns into a near fall. Use the 1-call rule. Schedule bars or the second rail today. Suction bars on textured tile. Replace with stud-mounted hardware. Paying family in cash with no logs. Stop, sign the agreement, start payroll, and log from now on. Fancy remodels without basics. Finish lights, bars, rails, strips first, design later. If you slip on momentum, do 2 fixes. Today, file 1 receipt and book 1 call. Checkpoint wins you should feel by day 7. Calmer midnight trips and planted feet in the tub by day 14. Smoother sit to stand and confident stairs with 2 rails by day 21. Cleaner blocks with fewer standby minutes by day 30. A working binder, a caregiver agreement in motion, an attorney date on the calendar, and a house that finally feels like an ally. Light grip, trip, then tasks, logs, and timing. 30 days from now. You'll move safer, spend smarter, and walk into any legal meeting prepared. That's your home shield working for you. Momentum killers. Fix these before they cost you. You've built real progress. Lights placed, bars tight, logs started, attorney on the calendar. Now protect it. These are the silent killers that quietly undo safety, drain money, and wreck eligibility when you're not looking. We'll do it later is the classic. Delay turns tiny fixes into big bills. The fix is the 1-call rule. If something feels unsafe, you make 1 call or book 1 task today. Grab bars this week, second rail next week, tub cut-in quote on the calendar. Not someday. Momentum beats willpower. DIY pride is another trap. There's smart DIY, motion lights, anti-slip strips, rug anchors, and risky DIY, drilling through tile without knowing what's behind it. Load-bearing supports, stair rails, and tub cut-ins need a qualified installer. You're not buying a chrome stick. You're buying load-tested leverage you trust when your foot slips. Suction grab bars on textured tile look helpful and fail under load. They're props, not protection. Replace them with stud-mounted bars or a rated tension pole if you rent. Trust is part of safety. If a bar wiggles once, you'll stop using it when it matters. Paperwork drift is a quiet bomb. Paying family informally, cash envelopes, round hours with no tasks. Those are red flags in a 5-year Medicaid look back. Stop now. Sign the caregiver agreement. Turn on household payroll and keep logs. Date, start, /end times, tasks completed. Pay by check or e-transfer with a clear memo. This is how you keep dollars in the family without tripping penalties. Fancy remodels without basics devour budget and don't change risk. A new vanity won't stop a slip. Stud-mounted bars? Anti-slip strips, bright diffused lighting, rails both sides. That's the foundation. Finish those before you think about tile. Covered, without details, is a mirage. If someone says a contractor will place bars, confirm studs, and mounting hardware. If a plan says provider covered, verify the exact NPI and facility site of service. Ambiguity creates costs. Gear in the wrong place kills momentum slowly. Lights that trigger after the turn, sprayers mounted out of reach, anti-slip strips in the middle of the tub where you never stand, stair tape an inch from the edge, close the loop, place test, adjust. A 5-minute tweak beats another purchase. Open loops bleed cash. Auto refill hours keep creeping. Weekend premiums slip in. Travel time eats visits. Reclaim your task first blocks. Front load safety, batch errands, and keep notes after each visit. Tasks done, risk spotted, what changed? Here's a monthly reset checklist that takes 10 minutes. Night walk the bed to bath path. If you hesitate, add or aim one motion light lower. Tug test bars and rails. Any movement, tighten or re-anchor this week. Press every stair edge. If tape lifts, clean dry and replace today. Stomp the entry mat. If it skates, anchor it or replace it. Open your binder. File receipts. Print the last 2 care logs. And note any changes in needs. Common money traps. Delivery fees that double the cost of a cheap item. Weekend agency premiums you don't need. Duplicate tasks between family and agency. And quick check-ins that become 2-hour minimums. Move visits to weekdays, batch errands, and keep family hours in their lane with logs. Micro story to anchor this. One viewer delayed a second rail because the handyman's coming anyway. 2 weeks later, a stutter step turned into a knee twist. Urgent care, imaging, brace, and 2 months of extra hours. The rail would have cost far less than the cascade. One call beats one fall. Decision fatigue shows up around week 3. Use the rule of 3. Bars tight, lights right, logs done. If one fails, fix that first. Protect the foundation before adding anything new. If you stall, do the 3 by today reset. 2 fixes now. Place a motion light and replace a slippery mat with anti-slip strips. 1 receipt in the binder with a photo and a 1-line note, what you fixed and why. 1 call booked, installer for bars or the second rail. Family friction is avoidable. Vague duties, pay without records, and unequal workloads boil over during crises. The agreement solves that duties tied to safety tasks, market rate pay, logs, payroll on. Do a 10-minute monthly check-in and sign off. Fairness is clarity plus paper. Finally, complexity creep. Adding tech and gadgets that need. Charging, updating, and troubleshooting drains energy. Prefer passive safety. Fixed lights, fixed bars, fixed treads, fixed rails. If you add a device, it must solve a real hazard and survive forgetfulness. Your momentum protectors in 1 line, 1 call, 1 list, 1 receipt. Book the next safety task, front load the next care block with clear tasks, and file proof in the binder. Every time you do that, you lock in safety, control hours, and keep your Medicaid story clean. Remember, momentum is money. Each week you stay upright, organized, and documented. You skip rush fees, cut idle hours, and push penalties out of reach. Protect the simple wins, and your plan keeps paying you back. Track your wins, 2 tests, and 1 binder. You won't stick with what you can't see. So we'll track progress with 2 quick home tests and 1 simple binder that keeps everything clean for you, your family, and any future review. Test 1, the 30-second sit to stand. Same sturdy chair, back against a wall, arms crossed, feet flat. Start a 30-second timer. Stand fully, sit with control, count clean reps. Most people begin around 8 to 14. Your goal each month is 1 more clean rep or the same reps with smoother control. Test 2, safe stair laps. Pick a short flight with rails on both sides. Time 1 up and down at a steady pace while holding the rails. Note time and confidence. No stutter steps, no catches. Aim to shave a few seconds or feel smoother before faster. Now the binder. 4 tabs: contacts, meds, legal, receipts/logs. Contacts holds doctor info, preferred hospital, installer numbers, plan/member IDs. Meds lists doses plus the pharmacy printout. Legal stores powers of attorney, any deed/trust copies, and your caregiver agreement. Receipts/logs hold safety receipts, photos of installs, and signed timesheets. Monthly 10-minute check. Bulbs, bars, rugs, rails, log care blocks, and tasks. If hours drift, tighten blocks before adding time. If a bill changes, staple it in and note why. If it's not written down, it didn't happen. Write it once, and future, you can relax. Rapid recap and next action. Make it easy. Key takeaway: fix falls first, formalize family pay, and time legal moves early so the 5-year look back doesn't ambush your house. Next steps. Tonight, run sit to stand, and 1 stair lap, place 2 motion lights, and start the binder. This week, install 2 stud-mounted grab bars, align care into 90-minute task blocks with logs, and book your elder law consult. Subscribe for the printable checklist, and watch the caregiver agreement setup next.